Good afternoon. This is the Red Rock Wilderness area, and we're looking out towards Loy Butte and in the distance Sycamore Canyon. And I'm going to break here to talk a little anime.
The Royal Space Force.
Wings of Aniamas, the Royal Space Force, is a gorgeous science fiction anime set in an inventive alternate world. Shiro is an underachiever, a man who had some dreams once upon a time, but didn't work hard enough to achieve them. He's settled into a comfortable mediocrity in a perfect organization for him, the Royal Space Force. That's a small military unit once created by the royal family. They're obscure, something of a joke, and nothing is expected of them. Shiro doesn't even make an effort to go through the motions properly. And then one night he walks past Rinquini, a lone woman passing out religious tracts in a downtown entertainment district. Her beliefs are certainly sincere, and she's dedicated to her God, but we have no way of knowing how mainstream her particular beliefs are. In her own ascetic way, Rinquini is also going through the motions, and so she's totally surprised when Shiro actually shows up for the meeting promised in the leaflet. Shiro's motives in seeking out Rinquini are confused. Shiro tells her he's concerned because one of his fellow cadets died in an accident. But Shiro certainly didn't seem very concerned about the man when he showed up late for his funeral, or when he went out drinking and gambling afterwards. Shiro seems more interested in Rinquini as a date. But when he tells her about the Royal Space Force, she thinks that reaching for the stars is a grand calling. The next day, the Space Force's leadership asks for volunteers for the first flight. No one really takes the call seriously, since no one's ever seen any sign of a rocket ship, and this isn't exactly a group of volunteers anyway. But inspired by Rinquini, Shiro volunteers, much to the disbelief of his friends, superiors, and fellows. And so, Shiro and Rinquini have somehow managed to inspire each other. Shiro will now embark on a more serious life and take his training regimen seriously. And he'll get to see the factory where the old men have been secretly designing and building a rocket that they hope will send him into space, if it doesn't blow up. Shiro himself becomes an instant media sensation, the world's first astronaut. But with that fame comes questions. Does Shiro think all the money spent on launching him into space is well spent, given the poverty around him? These are questions of priority Shiro has never considered, and he has no answers for them, beyond the blather the publicist whispers in his ear. He can hardly admit it's all to present as a woman. For perhaps the first time in his life, Shiro begins to seriously consider these awkward questions. He also begins to read the holy scriptures that Rinquini has provided him. Introspection is new for Shiro, and as he grows more serious as a person, he takes his role as astronaut more seriously as well. Meanwhile, there's politics afoot and a political and military culture reminiscent of the Cold War. Except these two great nations face off along a common border with a demilitarized zone between them. The politicians decide to move the planned launch to that border, hoping to entice their neighbor into providing an excuse for war. Wings of Aniamas creates an entirely new world, a new culture, and new technology. Partly this is a brilliant exercise in imagination, with writing, money, fashion, architecture, phones, computers, or vehicles. Everything we take for granted in the world was rethought and redesigned to be simultaneously recognizable for function, but be unfamiliar in style and mechanism. There are new rituals for conducting funerals, strange new games to play, and exotic foods and drink. These are all rendered in extraordinary detail as a casual part of the background. Without calling attention to itself, you still can't notice these clever and inventive touches all over the film. By creating new nations, religions, heroic icons, politics, and history, the movie avoids having us make easy comparisons to the rival American and Soviet space programs of our own world's 1960s. The art is detailed and original in all these aspects. The color palette has a cleanness to it, but it's been kept muted, so it's less vibrant than most cartoons, which enhances the verisimilitude. Human motion is very natural, and the mechanical devices are precise in their operation. It is, in short, a visually spectacular way of bringing an imaginative alternate world to the screen, and it was so richly and lovingly animated in its time that it still holds up well today. Wings was created by Hiroyuki Yamaga, who wrote the original story, as well as the screenplay he then directed. The group he assembled to create the film became the core of Studio Gainax. The group originally created a 4-minute promo for the project, set to Wagner's Meistersinger to get financial backing for the whole 2-hour movie. That demo video can be found on the Laserdisc or DVD. Because they were all from outside established anime circles, they broke a lot of anime conventions. Wings used illustrators such as Nobuyuki Onishi rather than animators to provide some still artwork. It selected voice talent such as Leo Morimoto from live drama, and it even brought in a real TV newsreader to record the fake newsreel voiceovers. And it hired composer Ruichi Sakamoto, who'd won an Oscar for composing the soundtrack to Bernardo Bertolucci's The Last Emperor. He scored a unique and exotic collection of music for the soundtrack that adds much to the otherworldly mood of the film. Some comparison to scenes from the Right Stuff movie adaptation of Tom Wolfe's book is inevitable too. However, the Right Stuff took a lot of these scenes from historical newsreels and actual NASA films, which are also reflected in the animators' research. Though I noticed they took a lot of their rocket designs more from the Russian space program than from the US Mercury launches. The anime converts many of NASA's training scenarios into lower-tech recreations in Oniyamas. To my mind, this is still Gainax's best work, a story of believable people in a dazzlingly creative setting with animation that still holds up well 25 years later. I give it 5 stars. Wings of Oniyamas was originally released in the US by Manga Entertainment. Unfortunately, their transfer to DVD wasn't very good, and the video is nowhere near as spectacular as it should be. It's currently distributed by Bandai Visual, and it's supposed to have been remastered by them, but given the price Bandai put on it and their history of shoddy DVD production, I haven't bothered to pick it up.
Thanks for watching.